All right, let's talk about something that really separates the good from the truly exceptional. We're going to get into the architecture of unshakable discipline. Let's just dive right in.
You know, just let that sink in for a second. This isn't about some kind of unhealthy obsession. Not at all. It's about a commitment that is so solid, so incredibly consistent, that to anyone on the outside, it just looks almost superhuman. That's the level we're talking about today. I mean, does that hit close to home? That feeling, that frustrating cycle where you're super motivated one day and then it just completely falls off a cliff the next. If that's you, then you're in the right place. We're going to talk about how to break that pattern, not with more inspiration, but with something way more reliable.
Okay, let's get into our first and, honestly, most important pillar here. You have to forget everything you think you know about forcing yourself to do things. See, real discipline, it isn't an action you take. It's an identity you step into.
What's so crucial to get is that this whole thing starts with a decision you make on the inside. It has nothing to do with what you're trying to do. It's all about deciding on the person you are becoming. Once you do that, your actions, they just start to fall in line naturally.
Just look at the power in the language here. I'm trying. That leaves the door wide open for failure, right? It's just a temporary effort. But I am. That is a declaration. It's a statement of fact. And when you make that simple little switch in how you talk to yourself, your brain starts scrambling to find evidence to prove you right. Okay, so moving on to the next part. Once you've decided who you are, well, now it's time to prove it to yourself with daily, deliberate action. This is where we actually forge discipline, in the fire of doing things that are a little bit uncomfortable.
So how do we build this muscle? It really just boils down to 3 core practices. First, you gotta take the comfort out of your goals. I mean, if they don't challenge you, they're never gonna change you. Second, be ruthless, relentlessly consistent. That is your superpower. And third, and this is a big one, intentionally do one hard thing every single day. We're not talking about climbing Mount Everest here. It could be taking a cold shower, making that one sales call you've been dreading, or just holding a plank for an extra 30 seconds. It's all about winning one small battle against your own resistance every single day.
And this really gets to the heart of it. Motivation? It's going to come and go. It's a feeling. Some days you're going to feel tired or bored or just totally uninspired. And you know what? Those are the most important days. Showing up when you absolutely do not feel like it. That's what separates the truly disciplined from the daydreamers.
So, now that you're building the habit, you have to protect it. Our third pillar is all about controlling your environment, because your surroundings can either be your greatest ally or they can be your absolute worst enemy.
Look, the choice here is actually pretty simple, and you can see it right in your own environment. On one side, you've got things that build you up. A space designed for focus, the power to say no, and 0 notifications popping up. On the other side, well, you have the destroyers. Seriously, turning off your phone's alerts isn't some tiny little hack. It is a strategic defense of your future.
Man, let this one really sink in for a minute. Saying no isn't being rude, it's being strategic. Every single time you say yes to something that doesn't align with where you're going, that random request, that mindless scroll through social media, you are, without a doubt, saying no to the future that you claim you want. You have to protect your time like it's a fortress.
And all of this brings us to the final and I think totally game-changing insight. We have to completely reframe how we think about discipline and its really, really unreliable cousin, motivation.
The big takeaway here is this: stop waiting for motivation to strike. Motivation is a feeling, and feelings, well, they're fickle. They change with the weather. Discipline, on the other hand, is a system. It's dependable. It's a promise you made to your future self, and it works whether you feel like it or not.
And that's it. That is the whole game, right there. The secret isn't some magic pill or a fancy productivity app. It is the unglamorous, sometimes difficult, but profoundly powerful act of just doing the work when every single part of you wants to sit on the couch. That is where the real transformation happens.
And as you start building this muscle, get ready for this progression. At first, your new choices might seem a little crazy to other people. They'll question you. Why are you waking up so early? Why are you working so hard? But you stick with it, and over time, that questioning, it starts to turn into respect. And eventually, that respect will turn into admiration.
And ultimately, this is the real goal.
To just let your actions do all the talking. You won't even need to announce your goals or talk about your grand plans. Your daily, relentless consistency. That will be the loudest statement you could ever possibly make.
So, I'll just leave you with this one question. Not tomorrow, not next week. Today. What is the one intentional act of discomfort you will choose to do to prove to yourself that you are a disciplined person? The choice is all yours.